Honestly, I kind of love telling the story because when I tell people I was not thinking about business at all. When I tell
Right.
people it was just got overwhelming for me trying to juggle my 9 to 5 customer service.
Hey, what's going down? Welcome to another episode of the Connections Hub podcast, where we connect you to everything business related. Now, I'm super excited for this episode because I got my boy Alan Moore, the founder of Let's Do It Houston. Now, I'm not going to steal his thunder, so I'm going to let him take it away. So, Alan, go ahead and let us know who you are and what it is you do.
Awesome. Well, thank you for having us, Jha. My name is Alan Moore with Let's Do This Houston, and we host themed bike riding tours, special events for people living and visiting here in Houston, Texas. We've been involved in the community since 2015, doing tours, doing activities, doing special events all around the city for you to enjoy.
Oh no, that's super dope. And I've watched this company evolve over the last few years, and it's just so amazing seeing it go from just this to this, and even staying inactive after COVID, and
Yes.
like just being able to innovate in that way. And we were just talking about that off cam about just how you are just this innovator with all the different things that you're doing. So, what got you in the industry?
Well, long story short, my background is social work. So I graduated from Prairie View with a degree in social work, bachelor's of science in social work, and I worked at this group home for kids. They were always riding bikes, doing things like that. I was fresh out of college. They were always trying to say, Mr. Allen, ride bikes with us. And I was like, no, man, I'm working, leave me alone. And so I really wasn't interested in riding bikes. Once I left that position, I moved to Houston, hopped on the Houston B-Cycle bike, rode around, had my music, stopped and got something to eat, and then that's when the idea clicked from there. It was really enjoyable for me to ride around the city, have my music going, stop for a bite to eat, all while riding a bike. So I thought, hey, this would be real fun for someone my age. I had grown out of that club scene atmosphere, so I wanted to look for something that young adults could do other than the whole club atmosphere thing. And so we decided that merging bikes and music and stopping at local businesses in the area would be a good idea.
No, and it is actually when you put it all together. So taking a few steps back, where was the school where you were working at?
It was a group home called Boys and Girls Country out
Okay.
there in like Cypress, Katy area.
Okay, cool,
Yeah.
cool, cool. So you working at the group home, then from the group home, you got you a bike.
Yes.
So what
yes.
inspired you to just get a bike?
Well, the kids actually, they was telling me they were always trying to get me to ride bikes. I'd take them to these biking events, and they would say, "Miss Allen, get on a bike," and I was just not focused on like getting on a bike. Even though I rode bikes before when I was younger, then once I left that position, I was like, "Hey, let me get a bike and ride around," and it really became enjoyable. So many memories came back to me. I was able to listen to music. I was able to check out different new businesses in Houston around the city. And I was like, this is really fun. And I didn't have to worry about parking. I didn't have to worry about walking, how I was going to get back and forth. And so that idea just came upon me. And I was like, this really could be fun for people that are looking for something different to do around the city while tapping into those things that they've done before, such as biking.
No, so was it always just an idea, or was it always a business idea?
It was just an idea at first, and then I was in the living room with one of my friends and told them about it, and then we decided to put it on social media. I decided to, in order for me to engage other people and tell people about what we were doing, I got most of my friends to join us at first, but I put it on social media.
What you put, like a flyer, or like what was it?
Yeah, I just put me on a bike, with a bike, using Houston B-Cycle bikes to get everyone else, because everyone else didn't have bikes available. So
Okay.
I just Googled, found where you can rent bikes at, and Houston B-Cycle popped up. And then I just organized it and created my first event called Bike and Brunch. And so Bike and Brunch was, we coordinated through several stations throughout the city. I didn't know how I was going to do that. But we ended up making it happen, getting people on bikes. We biked to this local brunch location, sat down and ate and things like that, and then we headed back to our the respective starting locations. And so from there, I just kept being consistent, coming up with different names for the different locations that we were going to.
So like a different theme almost.
Yeah, different theme, you know, so like we'll do like 90s day or something like that.
So like what does that look like? So 90s days, like, well, I just pull, like, do I pull up on my own bike, or like walk me through it? How does it work?
Yeah, so we pretty much were coordinating with Houston Beat Cycle to have this many people that will come out. So we'll say a 90s day biking brunch. And so with that, I bought a speaker. I had music that was connected to the streaming service that I had, was most likely Apple Music. And we would have people sign up, and we would identify the restaurant that we would go to during that day or during that time. And so people would literally sign up through Eventbrite, because I was using Eventbrite as first to process my events and everything like that, just starting out. And people would literally see it online through Eventbrite first. That's really how I was able to capture people to sign up, was through Eventbrite database. Just people looking for things to do in Houston. They was like biking, brunching. You know, brunching was a new thing that was becoming more popular.
What year was this? Like
2015.
Okay. So
yeah. 2015 is when I came up with the idea. 2016 is when we really started. People started booking us through Eventbrite, and and it just took off from there.
So Eventbrite, is that still the only system you use now?
No, we've moved away from Eventbrite.
Why?
Because they had too many fees. And then in about 2017, 2018, we was able to build a website. And we moved everything onto our website. So all the ticket sales, everything that we had, managing the event, communicating to customers, was all through our website. And so that eliminated Eventbrite and all the fees that they had associated with theirs. And then we just moved it all to our website. And
so like, but eliminating Eventbrite, doesn't that eliminate people finding you?
It did. At one point it did. It did, because we started gaining traction on social media and having our website together. That allowed us, and we had to take some type of sacrifice for that. We knew that being off of Eventbrite, that it would eliminate people actually finding us, because that's what people went to for events.
Right.
But it also eliminated most of those high fees and invoices that we incurred after you were doing an event on Eventbrite. For us, and see, for me, I wasn't into business.
What you mean?
My background wasn't business. It was social work. I was working in the field. I was working for someone.
Right.
I didn't even think that I was going to be running a business. I didn't go to no business classes. I didn't go to business school. It literally just happened, and I was like, oh, I got a business now. You know, I did everything pretty much backwards.
No, and it's funny, because that's how a lot of great businesses start.
Right.
So, okay, so we were in social work. We stopped doing social work. Pull up. We like, man, we're gonna get a bike. The kids been telling us about a bike, so we get our own bike. We riding, we brunching, we listen to music. We notice that it's a vibe, and we at an age where we like, you know, I want to find something new and different to do.
Right.
So you make a post on Instagram, you put it on Instagram, and you start getting people to come out in groups to actually ride.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So that brought us up till now, and then we eventually got off Eventbrite. Now we're off of Eventbrite, and we're building a community now on social media.
Yes.
So how has that been, or when did things change to where you start noticing this isn't just a meetup that people do, this is actually a community, this is something I'm building?
Yeah, so back in around 2017, latter part of 2017, around June 2017, actually, we were able to find out what worked for us. I actually quit my job in 2018 because I was juggling, trying to work for myself, trying to start this new thing that I didn't even know how far it would take us.
Right.
Well, let me go back. In 2016, we found this guy named Dr. Vion, who runs Tour de Hood. It's a nonprofit organization.
Okay.
This was me going online, Googling bike rentals as well. We moved on from Houston Beat Cycle and found Dr. Vion, who runs Tour de Hood, and he had a whole bunch of used random bikes, and I pitched him my idea, and he already did free rides every Wednesday for the community in Third Ward.
Right.
And his rides were free, and I pitched to him that we could do this for a younger demographic of people by incorporating music and this thing called brunch. And so he believed in it, he believed in me. We created this partnership together, and then for you know it, we was operating right there out of Third Ward at Tour de Hood.
Hold on, you gonna breeze over that really quick. You sure you wasn't an entrepreneur before? Because
Yeah.
this was a lot of,
No.
to go from being somebody that worked and then just being able to pitch and just really articulate your ideas, that's a lot of.
So what really helped me was in social work, you have to be real resourceful, right? You have
Right.
to meet people that you've never met before. You have to meet with family members. You have to meet with counselors. You have to meet with doctors, so many people. So that allowed me to use my skills to allow me to find resources. So all the time when I would try and find activities for kids to do, I have to be on Google finding out things to do in Houston.
Right.
Is there a free event where they can go to? Is the museum free? All these things. So in my research, I actually found Dr. V, Tour de Hood. He had a whole bunch of bikes. He did it for free. I told him that, hey, you give me 25 bikes, each bike will pay you $5 out of, you know. And, you know, of course he loved it.
Right.
Of course, no one was bringing him revenue or anything like that in regards to bicycling.
Exactly.
And so from there, I just remained consistent. Put a new social media was the driving factor that everyone was on, specifically Facebook. Back then, Facebook allowed you to put events out, and if somebody liked it, it would share on their timeline.
If somebody
right?
interested and things
Someone
like that.
interested. And so when I started putting on these events, as far as Erykah Badu Night Like Bike Ride, Mary J. Blige Night Like Bike Ride, people.
So you do different themed artists.
We do different themed artists, and I knew that was the key to driving people out to our events.
What you mean?
Because once they see our flyer, you know, in business, what I learned, a lot of people tend to not really read. And what that is it created this buzz, and people was like, oh, Erykah Badu finna be here, Erykah Badu. And so we had to start putting in our facts that this is just a bike ride, this is not a concert. So we ended up getting a lot of traction on our events, and actually responding to people that were like, oh, Erykah Badu gonna be here. And it was like, no, we're just playing her music, but we're going on a bike ride. And we're listening to her music, and we're stopping at this place. And so you get a full, you know, collaborative thing in regards to activities that people love doing. And so that's really what it was for us, is Facebook and a similar, you know, kind of going viral, you know, in a sense. You know, for our standards, that was good. We was getting impressions, 17,000, 20,000, a lot of people clicking on it, you know, commenting, saying, hey, this, and hey, they would like to try it. And really, Facebook is what allowed us to grow our community and grow all those people that started following us, started actually coming out and doing our events and things like that. And so Facebook was really one of the stepping stones that propelled us into going onto social media and then using it to our advantage to push our events.
No, and it's funny, Facebook's free.
Yeah, no, exactly.
It's a free resource, which brings me to my next thing, because it seems like, and I watching a podcast, like Snippet, actually recently, and they were talking about a lot of people when they start in business, they always get these businesses that they first start with that take so much to put in order for it to get started. Exactly. It doesn't sound like you're putting in too much. I ain't counting your pockets or nothing.
No, right, exactly. No, I was honestly blessed. I mean, it was not a lot of startup costs with it or anything, because we was actually starting with something that is already there, a bicycle, something that I didn't have to go and purchase. I tapped into my resources and found a guy that had a bunch of bikes, and all I had to do was make it look good, you know, put it on social media, come up with flyers and all those things, actually show them what we were doing. And so for us, it wasn't about really creating a product. We created a service almost, in a sense, while also utilizing something that was already there. You know, it didn't take much for us to. We didn't have to we fixed our bikes, but we didn't have to come up with a whole new bike to showcase, to try and get people to buy into what we were selling them or the services that we were offering. So, yeah, I mean, it was just got overwhelming for me trying to juggle my 9 to 5, customer service, dealing with tickets,
How did you do all that? Dealing with tickets, 9 to 5, working. Like, how did you do that?
I honestly, for my 9 to 5, I'm not gonna lie, I really started slacking on my productivity. It was not being in the office from 9 to 5. We had to go into the field, meet with different people. So I might be off at 2 o'clock.
Right.
Off technically, So I go home, do some couple of notes, things like that, and then we'll be able to get online and update, our website or the page or anything like that. So for me, it was just really finding those little small pockets to where I could have the time to do it and to navigate my 9 to 5 and still trying to be productive. And it just, at a point, it became overwhelming. And
do you think it's possible?
Yeah.
Think it's possible for somebody that's trying to navigate getting in the 9 to 5 and starting like?
No, yes, most definitely.
When did you finally say, okay, this is over? Like, when did it get so it's like I gotta go?
In 2018, January 1st, 2018, I actually quit my job. Now, of course, it was in the works. I notified my manager, let her know what I was doing, what I was planning on doing, and worked on that and decided that I was going to do it January 1st, 2018. I wanted to start fresh new and go full steam ahead at it. And 2018, that's when I started working for myself.
Was your business income already replacing your home salary?
It wasn't. It wasn't yet. I had luckily had saved enough money to where I was working from my 9 to 5 job to where the money that I had started coming in from the business, that it was able to let me help me for about 2 to 3 months or so at best. During that time, around 2018, I ramped it up like tremendously. I started putting out more tours, knowing that putting out more tours later, 2 months down the road, that income could come in because people were reserving those spots. So that's what allowed me to do it. And what's what I noticed 2018, that of course I wasn't having to wake up to go to work.
Right.
Then I could prepare for these 5 tours that I have coming up.
How often do you have them? Every week?
Every weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. At some points, Saturdays we were doing 2 rides a day. Sundays we were doing 2 rides a day. And it would be 6 rides almost in a weekend. And so for us, and when we started, we also were doing longer tours because we didn't know
what you mean.
We were doing longer tours in regards to distance. So
like by tour, like just for them, you're meaning like the group, basically. Each
group, yeah.
Okay.
Every time we do a tour from like 7 to 9, we used to do like 8 miles round trip type of thing. We was just riding, trying to find little pit stops to where we could, that would accommodate us and things like that. But what we noticed was we found a niche audience of people. We started getting people that haven't rode bikes in a long time. People were more so saying, oh, I'm tired. This is, kind of long. And this was back in 2016, 2017 time. And then we were able to fine tune it around 2018 when we officially started doing more tours. We were able to narrow it down to 2 hours and 3 hours. And
how did you do that?
And that wasn't total time of riding. That was just in regards, check-in time was 30 minutes. Our pit stop time was 30 minutes. Just being able to break down specifically how much time we spent during that 2-hour time period and what worked for people that visited our rides.
Right.
People were really, what we noticed was people would tell us, oh, I haven't been on a bike in 5, 10, 15 years.
Right.
And noticing that we can cruise and noticing that we didn't have to ride fast or anything like that, that was able for us to fine tune it within those 2-hour marks. And so we started doing tours that started being around like 6 miles round trip type of thing, 3 miles there, 3 miles back. And we noticed that worked for people. They wasn't feeling like they were going to an event where they were going to work out. They needed a bunch of water or anything.
Right.
We didn't need any medics. We didn't, have to call any ambulance or anything like that. We wanted to be more of a social, interactive type of environment.
Right, and how did you fine tune that? Like, did you start going on routes yourself? How did you fine tune it to the 2-hour mark? I really just figured out,
would work for us in regards to that, and the amount that the revenue that we were bringing in during that time. So if we were to do 2 hours and say I can get 30 riders and make $800, so then I started doing my research in regards to what profit margins look like, what that looks like in regards to if I did a 9 to 5, how much would it be for working an 8-hour shift versus, how much you would get paid for working an 8-hour shift, and kind of just playing around with those numbers and the total amount that I was bringing in to try and make it make sense, basically. Because I didn't want to be, riding, say the event is 4 hours and I'm only making $500 or something like that, and it takes $200 to do, to host a ride and things like that. So we were able to find a time that works for everyone and our guests.
Did you use like a system or processes? Like how did you really nail it down? Like, okay, we see this amount of people like this.
We just used our system from what we noticed from when people signed up and things like that. So we noticed certain rides that we would do, they would be more popular. Like we'd do a Beyonce ride, and we would schedule that in Beyonce birthday, September 4th. We would do a ride September 4th, 5th, and 6th. And so those 3 days, all those type of rides would sell out, and we would make X amount of dollars, $2,000. And so for that weekend, that's a good weekend. And so we noticed that being out there for 2 hours or 6 hours for those 3 days, making $2,000 made sense for us, And so we just kept with that system and didn't change it, and crunch the numbers and seeing that, hey, this would work for us. And this was way before we started having staff and things like that. People working for us, and it was really me, myself, and Dr. Vion that was hosting the tours.
Do you have a staff now?
Yes, I have staff. I have about 4 staff that work for us now.
What's
so they're contractors.
So what they do?
So they're pretty much bike guides, and they come on and they assist with bike tours. They help with the safety. They put up bikes. They assist if somebody can't make it no longer. They stay behind with them. They set up of the bikes. Once we do check-in, I have a host, someone that checks people in for the tickets, all those type of things. And so, it's been really a process for us during that time.
I can only imagine. So this is 2015. Now bringing us to 2022. So, wow, that was how many years? That 7? 7 years. So over a matter of 7 years, you've been able to build something. Now you got 4 contractors, and it's just going crazy.
It is. Before we only had used bikes, but now we all got uniform bikes now. So they're all the same color. There's some good, a special Gazelle type of bike. That's the brand of bike that we have. And we was able to get a container. We was able to paint it, brand it, and all those things with the name on the side and stuff like that. And so, over time, I mean, it's just really been a great process. An interesting process is that, because I could literally go on and on about the things that I've encountered, even as far as taxes. I mean, I had my card shut down one time because I went to use my card and it got shut down because I didn't know anything about sales tax and taxes. I did a Sade ride that weekend for 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and that ride literally paid back all the back taxes that I had for that. And it was crazy.
Wow.
I mean, I love telling the story because I did not understand it. Like, I didn't have a mentor.
What brought you to understand it? Like, did you get in touch with somebody?
No, they contacted me. I mean, I got a letter. I couldn't use my card. It was I was using PayPal. I was using PayPal in the beginning, and literally, I went to go swipe my card for something. It was like, and I looked, and it was like negative $1,400 or something, and that's how much they put. Like, if you don't file your taxes, don't put anything. They put an estimate. And so, I went in there, sat in the tax office for several hours trying to understand what was going on, and that's basically what happened, and so it was definitely a major learning curve for me. And I just love to tell that story because it was just me doing stuff, not understanding the totality of running a business.
Right.
You know, and I'm still learning. Last year I was in the third ward of small business class that I took, and so that was helpful as well for me. But yeah, I'm still learning to this day. I'm still
I think
trying
we
to
all
get it.
still learning.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
of
we all
course.
still learning.
Yeah, and you know, and I really, and all those mistakes and stuff have made me a better person, allowed me to give other people information to share with them, you know, how to do this, how to do that,
Right.
and you know,
Leads you down.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what's up. Well, no, I know off cam we were talking about just you now implementing over this period just products.
Right.
So you going now from just offering this service to now you got these products. So
Yeah,
tell me a little bit about that process and the switch.
Yeah, so what we're doing now, we're trying to bring in merch and things like that for our rides. A lot of our rides, you know, people are coming, they don't have bags to put their belongings in, they don't have water bottles, towels to wipe themselves off with, all those type of things that we're looking to bring in to bring into the tours during that experience.
That's dope.
Just for branding purposes as well. You know, if somebody go out and they might take their bag somewhere and they'll see Let's Do This Houston on there and things like that. But we're just trying to get better in regards to branding and making sure ourselves visible when we go on tours. You know, when we ride around, people, they see us, and when they have the bag on now, they'll be able to see Let's Do This Houston. We do tours, book a private tour, all those type of things. So we're just trying to fine tune those things in regards to marketing and promoting our business while we're on the tours.
Who helped you with that? Or whose idea was that? Was your idea?
It was mine. It was mainly mine. I've mainly been doing all this all by myself, honestly.
That's what's up.
And as much as I don't want to, I used to brag about it a lot, you know, but after being in the small business class, I noticed that they was talking about not working, working in your business, or you don't want to be working for your business.
Working on your business and not in your business.
Exactly, exactly. And so for me, I just started branching out in regards to getting our graphics done, you know, hiring staff to lead tours from when I'm not there, when I'm not available and things like that. And, you know, just coming up with a system pretty much to where that I know that it can be ran when I'm not there. The reason why I'm doing this so long in regards to hosting tours and me being the main person running the tours is because we really are focused on safety. You know, riding in the street next to cars, you know, there's a high percentage of people being hit by cars nowadays on bikes. And so for me, being a small business, you know, that liability is real high if someone gets injured.
Is it on you if they do, or how does that work?
Well, so we have business insurance now.
Okay.
You know, we acquired that about 2 or 3 years ago in regards to running and operating our business. So if any accidents or anything happen, we have certain business coverage that cover our incidents if something was to happen. And so that was one thing, of course, that we didn't have before. You know, we operate as a LLC. Now, at first we was doing as DBA back in 2015, and that was the most incorrect thing I could ever been doing with, you know, in regards to bike riding and something that is such a high liability in regards to somebody possibly being hurt. But yeah, we was able to acquire all those things and ensure our business and our model to make sure that we have safe rides when we go out.
Definitely.
Because, I mean, one accident can really just turn your business upside down and make it not safe for, you know, not good for the business.
Definitely.
Like that.
One of my just kind of last questions for you would be, where do you see this going, or where are you taking it?
That's a great question. So what we've been working on now is looking to do some type of crowdfunding. We've been looking to do some type of crowdfunding because we want to eventually take our business to where we become mobile. So we're looking to acquire like a box van or a small van to where we can wrap the van, have bikes in the van, and we can go to other different cities, go to Dallas, we can go to San Antonio, we can go to Austin, and pretty much become mobile and bring experience to those people in their communities.
So you would take the bikes, like it'll be a big van, you would take all these bikes on the van and go to different cities and offer the same experience.
And offer the same experience. You can have whatever type of music you want. We can coordinate with a restaurant in the area.
So it's an event tour. It's like it's a tour.
Pretty much.
Like I can rent you out, like a private ride.
Exactly. If you have 30 people, 30 family or friends that, hey, you want to take a ride in Austin by the lake or something like that, in that area, we can figure out what restaurants are in that area so you can take a break there.
How does that work with the restaurants? Do you partner with the restaurants?
Yeah, so we reach out to the restaurants. We let them know how many people that we'll have come and visit in their restaurants. We let them know that we tell them to tag them for promotion reasons and all those things, marketing. And then they'll set aside, reserve us a spot, and then our guests will come and join us. Like we just did a big ride to 5015, Bar 5015. This was one of our largest rides. 75 people registered for this ride. And so...
Who was the artist? Who was the
no, it was just random music.
Okay.
So people doing those type of rides, we allow people, we have a feature during registration that allows you to submit a song. So people now, you can submit your song and now you can hear it on the ride. So now people is like, hey, I want to hear Jay-Z, I want to hear Lil Wayne, I want to hear Megan Thee Stallion. We can play their specific songs, and we're talking about like specific song titles and requests.
So if I'm a rapper, you can play my song.
Exactly. Yeah, no, 100%. We've even tried to partner with different rappers and artists to where they can host a themed ride to engage their artists in a different way.
That's smart.
We've partnered with different business and organizations to get their brand and to engage their their audience in a different way.
Right.
You know, we have one coming up with one young lady called Britt Don't Quit, and she's all about health, fitness, and she wants to engage her audience and followers in a different way. So we're doing a bike ride, hosting a bike ride with her. You know, letting her you know, talk about the event, come on there, you know, post about it, all those type of things. And yeah, you know, we pretty much like to add different elements to bike riding because, you know, everybody had that memory of bike riding before, and it's enjoyable and it's fun. And it takes them back to their younger days, you know, and music as well also connects with people in certain type of ways. You know, when we do date nights, we have married couples come and they play their anniversary song, their wedding songs and things like that. So all those type of experiences, you know, bring some type of joy to people. Definitely when they're able to see the city. You know, we go in so many little trails and people be like, hey, I didn't know that was there. I didn't know this was there. All those type of things, and it's all built around biking and all those type of things.
No, that's beautiful. I can see it building. I can see it building. Well, we're gonna wrap things up. So go ahead and let us know, where can we find you? Where can we find out more about your next ride and just more about you as a person?
Cool. You can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, at Let's Do This Houston. Our website is letsdothishouston.com. You can find us on YouTube as well. We're venturing into that space as well, so we can post more about our events. And yeah, so we got plenty of events coming up. We also have a boat party, a wind down boat party coming up that's in Lake Conroe, July 16th.
Nice.
And yeah, so we do more stuff other than biking. You know, we've done camping before, boat parties and all those type of things. But yeah, we have plenty of things coming up.
Nice. Well, thank you. This has been amazing, and catch you guys on the next episode.